Hi and welcome to the Alien edition of the Total Recall Show. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm at Zeoli.
Like Alien and you
looks
know
gorgeous.
you have it on like 4K HD something.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. Watching these old movies, like when you're watching a movie that's streaming, it's like you're not just getting to watch the movie, but you're kind of watching like the most, beautiful version of like just, and you can't help but see like incredible detail. Because like I own a copy of like Batman '89.
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff, but if I'm watching it on like HBO Max or something, it blows
my mind. I do like the throwback of like a grainy VHS where it's like darkens things and makes it look like. Seeing this, it's like I would see details on their suits, the backgrounds.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like I'm almost on the set of Alien. Maybe it does kind of take away from the reality of it when you're like really seeing, the seams, like you're seeing like, you're seeing a set as opposed to like this hazy nightmare. I don't know that I've ever seen the entire movie because like I'd always watch it, on TV or whatever,
yes.
but like I don't know that or I'd be at somebody's house and they'd be screening it. But my favorite part was always like when they go down to the planet,
yes,
and like they're on the ship and all the crazy H.R. Giger, kind of architecture and stuff, and the guy with the guy sitting in the chair, the space jockey or whatever with this, like that was always my favorite. And then when they get back to the ship and it's like this claustrophobic kind of thing, like I can appreciate it, but it's not like where my heart is the way this sequence is.
I'm right with you, Tom. It's my favorite part, like when they're exploring the seeing the eggs for the first time.
I always liked that explorational aspect of science fiction where you're like off the map, you're in some kind of weird, situation.
Like, imagine seeing this for the first time, like not knowing what the heck's gonna happen.
Yeah, it kind of felt that way this time because like it was like it's just so different seeing a beautiful print, real big, the world building and stuff, and like like the movie itself is like really well put together. Lots of like interesting choices and like just the whole way it's assembled and just like the world of it and the performances and things. But you can imagine a different movie that still worked if you took out like just like the amazing thought that went into the whole alien physiology, the egg that opens up, the face hugger implanting and then creating almost like a human alien hybrid, which is like the alien, the xenomorph.
Yeah, like the first alien related thing I ever saw was Spaceballs. I saw that before.
It puts on the top hat. Hello, madam. Because it like the Spaceballs thing was kind of like a great parody, and it was so like ripe for parody. But because it is like a showstopper, like when it happens, the chest burster, you're so not expecting it. It's a great fake out because the guy's like, "Hey, the alien fell off my face. I'm okay. Let's have breakfast." And then that thing comes out, and it's the famous story that like they didn't tell the actors.
Holy crap!
What was going to happen, and like so you're seeing their real reaction to seeing this. This thing.
Like imagine not even knowing that was going to happen, like in the audience, because like.
Yeah, it is like by the time I saw this movie, like when I was little, Aliens came out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see Aliens with my older cousins. I wasn't allowed to see it. My parents said I'd be too scared, whatever. So like my first encounter with this whole story was Sigourney Weaver on Saturday Night Live, and then all the parodies. They had like a million like parodies and things, so I knew the parodies and stuff. And yeah, I probably saw Spaceballs before I saw Aliens.
Me too.
And then it was definitely a while before I saw Alien.
Yeah, like I saw Alien last. Like after Spaceballs, I got into the Kenner Alien toys.
Okay.
And in the commercial for the toys, they had clips of aliens in there, and then we loved the toys and learned about the alien physiology from that. Be like, okay, a gorilla alien, a bull alien, the alien whatever it attaches to.
It's so cool that they put that kind of thought into the toy too. I recently learned about the alien toy, and when I was seeing like the commercials online, I thought it was like an April Fool's joke kind of thing. Like I thought it was like, oh, they're making like a fake 80s. Like I can't believe that was a real toy. I can't even believe there was like xenomorph dolls from the first movie, like in the 70s.
I can't believe it either. I just saw pictures of them recently.
Yeah, it's
incredible.
Like are we suckers? Like is it really a hoax? And like Because I was like, that's what I thought at first, but then it's like, no, I think this thing's legit. Imagine this with like, you know, like just like some kind of mysterious alien who's like hiding in the shadows, but like, no, we get like this really detailed look of like, I think that's what makes this sort of special and kind of stand out apart from like other, you know, like sort of space or horror movies of the era.
Yeah, because like that facehugger looks like a real creature you would see in like the world.
Yeah, bottom of the ocean or something.
The first one I saw was Alien 3.
Yeah.
On VHS. And then worked my way backwards, then saw Aliens, and then finally watched this one. And it scared the crap out of me. Like, I probably have watched Alien 3 the least.
The least, okay. Yeah, Alien 3 was the first one I saw in the theater. Kind of like, okay, I was too little to go see Aliens, but I was old enough to see Alien 3, so I made sure to take advantage of it. I haven't re-examined it recently, Alien 3. I did not like it when I first saw it. It was kind of like some of my feelings about like some different movies, like some Star Wars movies and things like that, where it's like I didn't like how it affected the other movies. Like,
yeah,
because Aliens is so all about you know, Ripley's relationship with Newt, and like she finally saves her, and then it's like, oh, 2 minutes later Newt dies, and it's like, well, there's a bummer. And like, I get it, when you're making a new movie, it's all about that movie you're making. So if you got to throw the previous series under the bus to make the kind of movie you want to make, that's fair game. That's just how that. But like when you're a fan of something, it's like a super bummer.
Seeing them like when I watched it for the first time, I was little and I didn't like have that relationship. Like I went back when I watched Alien second, so I'm like, oh no, like seeing it.
Well, you know what also made me want to like re-examine this movie is like I got the Aliens comic, or the Alien comic adaptation by Archie Goodwin and Walt Simonson. I was reading it, and there were parts in it, and I was like, I don't remember this part in the movie. And I'm like, are these like deleted scenes? Because sometimes the comic, you know, the guy who's making the comic adaptation is doing it based on like the script. He hasn't actually seen the movie. The movie hasn't come out yet. So I thought, is that it? All the stuff at the end with Ripley and the alien and sending it out the airlock and the shot from outside of the airlock, I didn't remember any of that. For some reason, I didn't remember. Like, if I did remember it, maybe I like thought like it was stuff from Aliens, you know?
Yeah,
but I didn't remember it.
Like, I was trying to figure out like who had what to do with the movie.
Yeah. So
you got Dan O'Bannon, the great screenwriter Dan O'Bannon, and his buddy from Pittsburgh. Ron, I think his name's like Schuster. Ron, he wrote the screenplay for Total Recall, the original, nice. And a couple at Free Jack.
Okay.
But Schuster, I think I'm saying his name right, came up with the idea of like O'Bannon had them go down to the world, but then he got a story by credit because he had the idea of the alien laying this, like he said. He had a dream. I wonder what he was dreaming. He's like, the alien fucks his face. Oh. And like, he's like laid his seed in like his throat. So the guy was like, he said he woke up and like thought that.
Yeah, I mean that it's kind of an amazing like insight, angle. Yeah, an amazing angle, and it, you know, and again, like watch this movie a bunch of times, and like.
Face fuckers.
Face fuckers. Yeah, face huggers is like, yeah, that was like a clean way of talking about it. Dumbing it down. Or like, you know, making it, you know, G-rated, face hugger. Like, what happens after hugging? I wonder if they called it that on the set. Called it like the face fucker on the set.
Like, there's like footage of Harry.
And then it's like, we got to come up with a name for this that we can say on TV, you know. Face shagger is the UK version. That's what Ridley Scott was calling it on the set. Now the face shagger. Okay, yeah, get that face shagger up close.
It's like
it's like a big willy that goes down your throat.
The face bugger.
Yeah, the face buggerer. As an actress said to a bishop,
so
the old quarrel and strife.
Hey, get an insert shot of that face fucker over there.
It's the face fucker. It shags your face. It's like a willy going into a fanny.
The airlock stuff, I think, was really Scott edition.
Okay.
Like, I think she was supposed to get away, and then he added the...
Because the movie's done. It's like, when she gets away, the movie could end there. I think it was a fine film.
Yes.
But that, you know, little encounter, like, sends it to another level. And like without like, so you got this great. It's a great moment, and like so many things in this feel very dreamlike.
Yes.
And like when the alien's just kind of like looking at her, it's not like, you know, if they made this movie now or whatever, that alien would like have immediately pounced,
yes.
and, you know, do this and that. But like it's just looking at her.
It's
like we got all the time in the world, you and me. You know.
There's something about the way this alien moves in this one, and the way it looks is just like extra creepy.
Yeah, it's the suit, and then there's a bunch of close-ups, and it feels like they kind of filmed it all in one session, and then spliced it throughout the movie. But there's the scenes where you're like close on his face, and there's all this water spraying out, and
it's like it's stewing, and like water, it's like gnashing my teeth.
Yeah, great like translucency and transparency all through it. You know, this. I mean, you know, I feel like this movie, it made H.R. Geiger a star.
Oh, definitely did. Like the there's a scene they cut it. It's on YouTube. I think they added it to like the director's cut. It's where when Ripley, the ship's gonna blow up, and she's like creeping around in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah.
She finds Dallas.
Okay.
And somebody else, but it like with like the thing. I'm always trying to figure out like how the creature works. I could never figure out like with the egg situation.
Yeah.
And apparently it was turning. You see egg morphing. It was introduced in the first one already. Like the queen was like a James Cameron concoction.
Yeah, to sort of escalate things, and yeah.
And basically from the first one, the alien like can cocoon you, and you start like mutating into like an egg.
So you become the egg. Those eggs were all people.
People.
Point, yeah.
It just showed like there's half mutated like people like going,
nice.
And then Dallas was there. I think I don't know if he was. I need to do more research, but like I don't know if he was there to be a victim of the facehugger or he was partly like transforming. But egg morphing was already in the play.
I kind of forget like how insane the like Ash subplot is, because it's like okay, yeah, you know, he's the guy who's there. He's kind of the secret evil guy manipulating the situation. But it's like when they're fighting him and stuff.
Oh
and,
my
like,
god!
Knock his head off and stuff. It's freaky. Like this movie plays with your head. You know, it's outer space, it's all that stuff. But the backdrop is so like workaday. You know, the whole like they're a bunch of working stiffs and stuff like that. And it's kind of monotonous. And when all this like crazy, insane, dreamlike stuff happens, it's like even more effective.
Because like I love Yaphet Kotto's like. When they're like, you're gonna go down to rescue these people, he's like, it's not part of my union contract.
Yeah. What's our cut? Like, oh, we got to renegotiate terms and stuff. Like Sigourney Weaver, it's got like, because like I learned a lot about this movie in like film school and stuff, and so there's a lot of these insights aren't really my own, but it's like, you learn about how like, okay, in this movie, like you don't find out until the end that she's the protagonist, that she's the hero. She's kind of like super stiff, does everything by the book, very boring, very drab, kind of a downer, and then and it's almost and like kind of an asshole, kind of like, wait, you're not going to let this guy in? And she's like, well, we got to follow regulations. You're going to let this guy die? She's kind of almost like not a villain, but kind of like an obstacle that they have to overcome. And it's not until the end that you realize the thing that like they made a big point of, like in film school when we were studying this, was the point. Can you guess the point where we realize she's the hero of the story?
No, the brain's rotting.
Well, it's when she goes back for the cat. It's like, oh wait, she does have a heart.
Literally saving the cat.
Saving the cat is where like, okay, she's not just some robot. Like you'd almost think that maybe later on in the movie there's going to be a surprise where you see like white fluid dripping and like wires and stuff, that she's a robot too, because she's just so just so like by the book and drab and stuff. But that's when you realize like, oh, she is like a caring, like there's a human being in like she is gonna get off the ship and be completely fine, but she has to go back because there's no way she's gonna leave the cat behind.
I think about that a lot.
Yeah,
where she's like the fact, because you always want them like people to like in the movies to save the animals, and if she's like straight up even in space, she's like, I can't leave without the fucking cat. Jonesy.
It's kind of cool how Jonesy is almost like the point of view character, so like maybe like a stand-in for the audience or for the camera or a direct, because there are scenes where Jonesy's just kind of like
great
watching.
cat acting in this. It's like.
Now I've been playing the board game, the Alien board game.
That's what you were saying.
A lot of fun, really cool, and it's got like Jonesy is an element in it. You
That's
know,
fun.
the sort of like I don't want to spoil any kind of stuff with the board game, but like Jonesy's kind of a fun like jump scare, like false alarm kind of thing. Yeah, it looks like for the face hugger they got like a bunch of like muscle, like meat, you know, like on the half shell kind of stuff, and like stuffed it in there.
He's like, who wants raw oysters?
Yeah.
And so there was Walter Hill,
the
great director Walter Hill. He was a producer and like also he did a script. Him and another dude, they took passes at the script, and they didn't get the Writers Guild like O'Bannon got like sole credit, but their contribution was they created the Ash character, like the android.
Okay, so it is like this like patchwork, this kind of like game of telephone or whatever. Like it's amazing that it's got such like a consistent tone, and you know, like it doesn't feel at all like, oh, somebody had this idea. Any one of those things could be its own movie. Like you could have a movie of like a bunch of guys on a bunch of people on a spaceship, and then it turns out one of the guys is like a robot who's kind of sabotaged. Like that would be enough
awesome.
of a movie, yeah. But it's like you got all these, you know, little elements and bits.
Yeah, like because he was trying to figure out that their problem was when that Shusha guy came up with the alien laying the egg. They were trying to figure out how they would get it from the land, like on the planet into the ship.
Yeah, good way to good way to do. So just so great,
so awesome.
And that little when there's the mist and stuff, and then there's like a laser going through it.
Laser in the mist.
Yeah,
like time.
At the planetarium and stuff when
that
they have the laser shows. That's become just like a standard laser show element. But
when we saw that laser show, they were blowing the dry ice out.
Yeah, we saw Laser Floyd, and then just recently I saw Laser Bowie.
Oh
there.
my god, still scares the crap out of me.
Yeah, it's I'm kind of back and forth between like which one I like better, Alien or Aliens, because this is like so, it's just like so perfect and so like Aliens is a little more my speed because it's a little more like audacious and in your face and out there and poppy. And maybe even a little cheesy, so it's a little more in my. But this is so classy. Like,
this is like creme de la creme. There's a little Four Loko in Aliens, and this is a little champagne here.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in sort of the aftermath of Star Wars. You know, it was like kind of Star Wars came out, and then everybody had to scramble to get their space movie, and then so we had like a couple years of space movies before people realized like, oh, people are just interested in Star Wars. They're not interested in any of this other stuff, and like. Alien did well enough, but it wasn't a huge, massive blockbuster, and that kind of worked against it when they were talking about making a sequel. Thank goodness they did make a sequel. But like, you can sort of see the fingerprints of like this being like a post Star Wars thing, because it's like every like post Star Wars movie has to start with like the shot of this giant spaceship
there it is.
slowly going into view, and you can't even believe how big it is. It's a little this spaceship seems a little, the Nostromo seems a little top heavy. Yeah,
definitely, because like once again with the haunted house angle, like the scary, it's like a creature running around like an enclosed space. It always creeps me out. Like, I always felt they needed more lighting in this ship. Crew to space.
They're trying to conserve power, I think. Seeing Harry Dean Stanton is making me think, like, how cool would an Alien sequel be with, like, Molly Ringwald in it? I feel like Molly Ringwald... Yeah, because he played her dad in one of the... I think her dad in Pretty in Pink. So, but I'm just thinking, like she would work so great.
Yeah.
I realize what I'm... Because it's like... I think that that little epilogue of this movie where it's Ripley versus the aliens, so great, and it's like she's in that like cheesecloth shirt.
Oh yeah,
and the tight I think maybe that's where I'm going. Like, maybe I want to see Molly Ringwald in that outfit.
You like write that into.
But I was just thinking, like, you know, the red hair, so like she kind of
with the bouffant.
Yeah, like there was a moment where like if we could have gotten like, you know, an Alien sequel
with Molly Ringwald, like Pretty in Pink era Molly Ringwald. My character, for some reason, there's somebody else there, and I'm like, oh god, when I see an alien, I crap my pants, and they're like, oh no.
Like the other lady on the ship or whatever. Like, she's so good, and she really helps sell this, because, like, and it's famous of, like, that was her real reaction to seeing the monster and stuff, like, and it's like, but, like, throughout, like, towards the end of the movie, too, there's, like, some more scenes with her of just, like, she's, like, freaking out, she's melting
Pure
down.
terror.
But it feels kind of like you got, like, Mrs. Brady on this spaceship, too. You know, like, there's these archetypes that everybody sort of, you know, adheres to. Yeah, the chest burster, I mean, that's the centerpiece of this, you know.
I gotta say, yeah, like, this is such class, but you know what? Aliens is my, like, I think Aliens is my jam.
The chest burster, you can see how it would get parodied, because he pops out, and, like, the camera kind of lingers, and it is kind of like, here's Johnny! You know, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
Who would have ever thought this was happening?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it is, like, all these, like, left turns and nice surprises and things.
There's no, when this came out, no internet, so, like... Somebody comes up and they're like, "Holy shit! I just saw it."
Yeah, he's like, "Do you see me? Can you believe it?" Sigourney Weaver kind of start out as like a background character, and then it's like as everybody dies, which is kind of a cool way to treat one of these like movies where it's like, and then there were none, you know, kind of where it's like one person after another is getting taken out, to kind of have the final person left be kind of a surprise, you know?
Yeah, it's like you're like, okay, by happenstance, now I guess I'm the hero.
Right, yeah, it's kind of awesome. And of course, I mean, it's almost like Rambo or something, because like, and again, Rambo written, the script written by James Cameron. But it's like, when she comes back, it's like, okay, I may have been like I don't even know what her job, like you know, a clerk on the ship, or like, the janitor, maybe she's the janitor of the ship. I forget exactly what her job is on the ship, but definitely like a workaday job. Part 2 comes out, and it's like, okay, she's the alien expert, you know, she's the alien exterminator.
Oh, whenever there was something when her reaction to when they're like in Aliens, there's people down on LV-426. Yeah. She's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, great. So anyway, how about the Alien Atari game? There's like an Atari, and it just it shows you like the era of video games back then, because it's like a Pac-Man clone. It's basically Pac-Man with like the xenomorph instead of ghosts. It's got a couple little, you know, it's kind of cool. Like you can pick up like machine guns and stuff.
I think Sigourney Weaver is gonna be in the Helmet Hair.
Oh, man, fingers crossed.
Because the Recallies are coming. I mean,
it's gonna make the Recallies look really good.
Yeah.
So it's in their best interest to put Sigourney Weaver in the Helmet Hair Hall of Fame.
That's the class.
Helmet Hair Hall of Fame is like, I'm going to start doubting its legitimacy if she doesn't make it in.
It's the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah, but with that helmet hair, it only gets more helmety and better. Because it's got a little bit of life in Aliens. It does. But in Aliens, it like solidifies.
It's helmet neck.
Like, I can't believe he's drinking that water. Like,
oh god,
that's like
Dallas
water.
Is up top taking a lead.
Yeah. You've been watching the Alien episode of the Total Recall Show. I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, and Fantastic Four Grand Design.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
And follow me on Twitter at Tom Scioli, or on Instagram at Tom_Scioli. Go to patreon.com, search Tom Scioli.
Follow me on Instagram at cinema_tomb.
And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.